I'm Dr. Christine Pfund. I want to thank Dr. Chetty for the invitation. This is my first trip to India, and I feel very honored to talk a little bit about some of the programs and mentoring that are happening in the United States. And thank all of you for your attention. So we have been working in the United States in a national research mentoring program that I'll tell you a little bit about. And we're really focused on the important work of mentoring, as you've heard the first two speakers note. So I always think it's very important to think about mentoring and the impact that I'm sure you've all had from good mentors. So at its best, mentoring can be a life-altering relationship that inspires mutual growth and learning and development. It is often why many of us are here, because we had amazing mentors that changed us. And its effects are really remarkable and profound and enduring. And the mentoring relationships really have the capacity to transform us as individuals, but also organizations and communities. And I think the Inspire program is a good example of that, of changing whole communities, almost a whole country, and who can do science. So as Dr. Chetty mentioned, mentoring is very important, and research has been done and shown that students who have mentors and effective mentors have many outcomes that are improved compared to those students that do not have mentors. And so I won't go through all of this, but there is a lot of literature that's been published that good mentoring relationships can enhance people's science identity, meaning they see themselves as scientists, their sense of belonging in science, and their confidence or their self-efficacy that they can do science. It impacts their persistence, their willingness and desire to stay in science and have a career in research, their productivity once they are in the research track. They are more satisfied with their careers, and there's a higher recruitment of those from underrepresented groups, which is something that we've been very focused on. So you heard Dr. Chetty give a definition of mentoring, and I'd like to just expand on that. So we really think about mentoring as a collaborative learning relationship, and it has many stages. And so you have the beginning relationship where you just get to know each other. You have a relationship that's very productive and moving forward, and then sometimes you have a closing to the relationship as you move on to other mentors. And it has the primary goal of helping mentees really get the competencies, the skills they need so that they can move forward in their chosen career. And it includes both personal and intellectual growth and development, so both personal and professional, as you've heard. So if we use that definition, we have been trying to move forward in what we've termed the science of mentoring. So every mentoring relationship is unique because we as people are unique. But there are some metrics that can be developed to start to understand what really makes an effective mentoring relationship. So here I won't go through in too much detail just to keep us on time, but we can measure success. So mentor success can really be how well does a mentor help their mentee attain the transferable skills they need to move forward in their career. And this really means that the mentor has to understand the mentee's unique needs and their desires and be flexible in their approach so that they can align with what the mentee needs. And that means that a mentee has a responsibility too. They have to be able to put the work in to get the desired competencies to move forward in their career. They need to gain experience and work hard to get those skills. And they need to have the ability to move forward in their chosen career. So what I want to tell you about today is an investment by the United States National Institute of Health in a national mentoring program called the National Research Mentoring Network, or NRMN. And these were some comments that I was going to share on the podium with Dr. Jambor Vishwanatha, who is in the University of North Texas Health Science Center, but he was unable to come due to some illness. So I'll also be sharing his comments as well. Dr. Vishwanatha and I are 2 of 5 principal investigators for this large national network. It has just completed its 2nd year, so it is very young, but is building off of many best practices in mentoring. So its mission is to provide a national consortium of biomedical professionals and institutions that collaborate to provide trainees across all different disciplines with evidence-based mentorship and professional development. And it has a focus on diversity, inclusivity, culture, and mentoring relationships in the workforce. Its goal is really to promote the value of mentoring and provide training and networking for both mentors and mentees so they can find each other and they can have successful relationships. Our goal is to have a more diverse and more robust biomedical workforce. So this slide is just to show you a little of the scope of the program that my colleagues and I have built. It has 4 major components. One is matching and linking, which you can see on the left side in yellow. So it is really to help mentees find mentors. One of our challenges, as I'm sure it is here as well, is mentees finding mentors in order to start a research career. They often are unsure whether they should ask someone to be their mentor. They're not sure how to navigate that. When they need help in a certain area, how do they find someone? And this network is to try to help that. So it has many components, 2 of which I'll mention in a moment. We also have many training components. We train mentors, faculty, and staff to be more effective. We train mentees to be more proactive in their relationships. We have much grantsmanship coaching, career coaching, so how to be successful in getting funding for their research. And we also have programs to give review of people's work and their grant proposals. We also have what we call referring, which is many career development seminars and a portal to research, get access to resources about mentoring, and then promoting. How do we get institutions, let alone the whole nation, to really invest in these mentoring programs? We have some of the programs that are similar to, for example, Inspire, but how do those spread across the whole nation? So what you just heard is amazing. The numbers are amazing, and can we get to those numbers as well? The different stars just represent which career stages these programs are being developed for, which ones are currently done, and which ones we are working on. So I want to just tell you quickly about 2 of the online programs. These are programs that help mentees find mentors and find each other. One is a Facebook-like application called My NRMN. All the mentors who are part of this network can find each other and search by expertise and discipline and find each other electronically and communicate like Facebook. They can also share documents, resumes, proposals with one another. The other is a virtual mentorship in which mentor and mentee can communicate by Skype or by email and talk to each other in a way and find each other in a one-on-one 4 to 6 month experience. Since we launched the program, it has been growing. Over the last year, we have now almost 4,000 participants with about 2,500 mentees and 1,500 mentors in the program. Again, we are just starting the 3rd year. Our goal is to get beyond 10,000 in the next year or 2. The participants come from all over the United States and associated areas. It is not a program currently funded to connect internationally, and that is simply because our funding comes from the National Institute of Health. But we hope that what we learn can help these programs collaborate with international partners. The last thing I'll talk about is the training that we are trying to provide to mentors and mentees to help them be more productive in their relationships and how to take a scientific approach to the study of mentoring. So NRMN serves as a national training hub to improve mentoring relationships. We have face-to-face training, online training, and we're training facilitators all over the country to implement training for others. This training is based on about a decade of work and research, some of which I've had the privilege to be part of. We are using a framework for mentoring that is based in the literature in 5 domains. These may be of interest to you. Many of them you will know just by your practice, but it allows us to have a framework in which we can communicate about mentoring and study it. So there are research skills that mentees must learn from their mentors, There are many interpersonal skills that are critical to the relationship. There are psychosocial skills. These are things like building confidence and science identity. There are many diversity or culturally focused skills. So how do we understand each other? How is your relationship culturally responsive to those you are working with? And last, we have sponsorship. How do you help your mentees network and provide them with professional development and help advocate for them? We have been training mentors and mentees across the country, across these different areas, to be very productive and effective in their relationship. We have trained almost 2,000 mentors and mentees, and we're collecting evaluation and research data so that we can learn what is working. I mentioned that we have 35 what we call master facilitators that travel all over the country implementing these trainings, and they themselves have trained over 1,200 mentors and 1,000 mentees. That way we can have a national impact. Many programs we have found in the U.S. become limited in scope because they stay local. And in order to have a national impact, many must be trained across the country in order to have that scope and impact. We are collecting systematic data on all of these interventions to inform, we hope, the practice of mentoring internationally. We are developing many curricula or teaching materials to improve mentoring relationships. And so this is to show a little bit of our progress, but these are things that may be of interest to you across different domains. So if you as a mentor want to help build confidence in your trainees, we have curriculum and teaching materials to help you learn how to do that better. Many mentors do that well already, but many of us were not trained to do that, and we can optimize the relationships by learning to do it better. One area of focus is on culturally aware mentoring. We're trying to help mentors be more comfortable addressing issues of culture in the relationship. In the United States in particular, this is a huge demand because the population of mentees that are beginning with us is very different from the large white majority of mentors. There needs to be cultural conversations in order for those students to feel they belong in sciences. But many mentors don't feel comfortable having those conversations, and so we have to give them the confidence to do that. This is just one example of when we produce a curriculum and are testing it in an area such as culturally aware mentoring, we are developing validated scales and looking and studying. This happens to show some of the domains we are measuring for culturally aware mentoring, such as making plans to increase my cultural awareness skills. And we're able to show quite large effect sizes with mentors who go through, in this case, 6 hours of training. When we see results like this, we then expand the program nationally to collect national level data so that we can start to look if these programs work across different groups. So that's just a little bit of a piece of what the National Research Mentoring Network is doing. I don't want to take more time. I want to honor my other speakers, but I'm happy to answer questions during the question-answer session. Thank you.